A motion to suppress evidence is a motion filed with the court asking the court to exclude and throw out evidence that was recovered by law enforcement. And it's grounded in the Fourth Amendment, which is the right to be free from an unreasonable search and seizure. So there are constitutional legal provisions that allow for the motion. And in Nevada, there are also provisions in the NRS sections that allow one to file a motion to suppress if law enforcement acted unlawfully.
Here at Las Vegas Defense Group, we often file motions to suppress evidence in situations where we feel that our client's rights were violated. These are important tools that help us to get evidence dismissed and help us to win a lot of cases. Sometimes when we successfully complete the motion and evidence is excluded, then we win the case that way. At a minimum, it may buy us leverage in negotiating with the prosecutor and convince them to reduce the charges and give our client a much better deal than he or she would have otherwise had.
It's really important in a case where there's physical evidence to determine how it was that law enforcement came into possession of that evidence. Here at the Las Vegas Defense Group, we're going to review the police reports. We're going to get law enforcement's position about what happened. We're going to get your position about what happened. And sometimes there's a dramatic difference between what law enforcement says and what our clients tell us. Often there might be witnesses that observed the events that led up to a search and a seizure. Once we gather all of the facts, we're going to prepare a written motion which details all of the points that we feel support why the evidence should be excluded and why we believe the case should be thrown out. We're going to file that written motion with the court. We're going to serve a copy of it on the prosecution. And the plan is that when the prosecutor reads the motion, they're going to realize that their case could be in jeopardy. Sometimes, based on the filing of a motion alone, we can negotiate a much more favorable resolution. And sometimes, if the prosecutor believes our motion has merit, they may simply submit on the motion and the case could be dismissed.
If we win our motion, if we're successful in our motion to suppress evidence, then the consequence is that the evidence that the police illegally discovered or obtained is excluded from court. So suppose that we establish that the police did an illegal search of our client's car and found a bag of cocaine, and our client is charged with possession for sale. In that situation, the evidence of the cocaine would be excluded from court. And almost always it results in the case against our client being entirely dismissed.
If you've been arrested in Nevada, call my legal team at 702-DEFENSE. The attorneys of the Las Vegas Defense Group will fight to get your charges reduced or dismissed.